A woman who's on her fourth marriage after 3 divorces is petitioning the Supreme Court to overturn same-sex marriage to protect the sanctity of marriage. You know, this is giving the same kind of vibes as like anti-gay politicians who get caught at gay orgies. It's those exact vibes of just doing something that really doesn't make sense. Listen, just because you apparently haven't found the right partner that you can make a marriage work with doesn't mean gay people shouldn't at least get the same chance, because with the amount of straight people being absolutely awful at relationships, in relationships to their partners, etc., I really don't think gay people are the problem, you know? Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some facepalm memes of people doing things that literally just make you want to smack their face, and the only thing stopping me most of the time is the fact that I wear glasses and I don't want to make them dirtier than they already always are. So that's what we're doing today. But you know the deal, before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll continue. In the meantime, also feel free to like and subscribe. Do you have your drink? Okay, let's go. JD Vance on Disneyland being shut down for his family vacation. We had the island to ourselves, which was very cool. I had never been to Disneyland. I thought it was awesome. Sorry to all the people that are at Disneyland for the longer lines, but we had a very good time. Did you know? Like, I get it, a lot of people generally have a good time at Disneyland. But I still think it doesn't match the experience of like having it to just your family or just your friend group. Like, I get that you did this for your own safety and for your family's safety, but you know not everyone has that chance, right? And you're just making yourself seem way more unlikable than you already are, actually. Update. White couple who adopted 5 black children to use as slaves were sentenced to a combined total of 375 years in prison. Why does this seem like a fake headline though? Like, the top part doesn't. Like, I can see white people doing that, of having the audacity to do this. But 375, did you just round it up for shock factor to discourage other people from having that same audacity? You know, like, I don't want to hope that this is true just because it's a shitty thing for people to do, but unfortunately you kind of have to believe the top part. Why would you do this? Why would you be so stupid as to view other people as property? Like, I know some kids have like biological kids and treat them basically like slaves or whatever, but don't do this. Don't have kids, don't adopt kids if you just want to use them for free labor. I feel like I shouldn't have to say it, but apparently I do. We did it! Feminism! Minnesota teen says server forced her to prove her gender in a restaurant bathroom. The 18-year-old high school student said unzipped her hoodie to show she had breasts after a Buffalo Wild Wings server didn't believe she was a woman. Okay, we literally live in the stupidest timeline. The absolute stupidest timeline. Literally. What are we doing? What are we doing? We are making literally just all women unsafer. So, yay, feminism. Like, you can pretend to be a feminist all you want, but if your policies that you're supporting with your money are making literally all women less safe, you're not a feminist. And you're just a shitty person. What are you doing? Just stop what you're doing, actually. My dad voted for Trump. I begged him not to. Now he can't afford his insulin. He says it's Biden's fault. I say it's denial. We're not divided by politics anymore, we're divided by reality. Yeah, which is why arguing with a certain type of people is very useless. Like, some people are waking up to reality slowly, but your dad's apparently not there yet. You know, like, either he knows it's not Biden's fault, he just wants to keep pretending, or he really doesn't. You know, of just like kind of trying to keep pretending to like not want to admit that you were right, or more specifically, you know, not wanting to admit that they were wrong. Because a lot of people who voted for Trump just thought that any changes that would happen would not affect them directly. I think at some point he will probably realize this. Otherwise, yeah, reality has not seen your dad in years. Undeniable pettiness. This was flagged because it's not actually a facepalm, but breaking news. The Scottish government approved wind farms obstructing views at Trump's golf course days after President Trump criticized windmills during his visit. I love the pettiness of just being like, oh, you have a problem with windmills? Okay, let us just build hundreds more. I'm here for it. I don't know if it's as petty as some, like, was it a prime minister or something, or a minister, whatever, saying he can't meet him because he's busy washing his hair and he's just bald. Like, I feel like that was top-notch pettiness. But this comes very close, and I'm very here for it. And honestly, you're building clean energy, basically, so I'm very here for it. Ignore the panicans and trust in Trump. Wages are rising and inflation is low. President Trump's America First economic agenda is working. Ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears, because it's all just fake news, right? Like everyone complaining that prices are rising through the roof. No. They're just panicans, really. I under other circumstances, I would think this is funny to, you know, make up that word for a group of people if they're like overreacting, you know, like if you actually just like have a group of people that are just like losing their minds over something that isn't a problem, like people freaking out about trans people existing and just accusing them of really weird and random things, that I would like agree that the term panicans might fit, but everyone is freaking out. Even the people who voted for Trump are starting to freak out about prices rising and inflation and tariffs. So you're really like either just completely detached from reality or just trying to save your own ass. Maybe both. I really can't tell with these people. Grok. Account suspended. Suspense accounts that violate our rules. They suspended their own AI. You made an AI, but didn't program it in a way that it wouldn't break your own rules. Also, can we bring back the pettiness of people just like posting things to get suspended? You know? Because that's kind of funny of them posting something that they know is against the guidelines just to piss people off. I'm pretty sure people are still doing that though. I haven't seen a post about it in a long time. I'm obese and refuse to give up my second seat on a plane for a toddler. She paid for 2 seats. The mother with the toddler didn't. Those are her 2 seats to do with as she pleases. I hate these headlines. Like, I know why they make headlines like this, because it'll cause an outrage. But I don't think a lot of people will then actually read it. They'll just be upset over this fat lady who didn't give up her seat, because yeah, well, she really didn't have to. If you pay for 2 seats, you're allowed to do with those 2 seats what you want. And personally, not having a screaming toddler next to you is probably a good use of 2 seats. Like, she booked 2 seats because she was aware she needed more than 1 seat, or was aware that she was at least gonna like cross into this other person's boundary if someone else sat next to her. Even if she doesn't dislike children, she doesn't need your child to sit there. Like, she doesn't need to let you put your child in that seat, you know? She paid for it, literally. What are you doing? Americans saw water freeze at 0 degrees Celsius and said, let's make that 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Europeans saw a guy who was 6 feet tall and said, let's make that 1 meter and 89. See how freaking stupid you sound? Like, personally, I mean, I'm European. I'm very used to metric, and I personally find it very, very nice that water freezes at 0 degrees and evaporates at 100. Like, it's nice and even. I like it. But honestly, who gives a shit? I do think meters make more sense because, again, it's even numbers. You know, like, you go from 1 to 100 and then you have a meter. It makes sense. But honestly, I mean, if you grew up using, like, feet as measurement and using, like, Fahrenheit, that's what you used to, so it probably makes a lot of sense. Honestly, why are we arguing about this? You know, it really, really does not matter. They made us pledge allegiance with liberty and justice for all every morning from ages 5 to 18 and then get mad when we demand liberty and justice for all? Make it make sense. Yeah, well, we didn't mean it like that. No. When we said that, we only meant some people, really, not all people. But yeah, like, I really don't think they meant you to take that part serious. Generally, I don't think they meant you to take it that serious. Fired for my political beliefs. My name is Connor, and I was recently shown in the latest Jubilee episode. As a result, unfortunately, I was subsequently released from my job. I'm raising money as an emergency fund and for other expenses while I look for a new job. To clarify, I was terminated from my position for holding fully legal, traditional, right-wing political views. This is cancel culture and political discrimination on full display. I just went on the riff where I shared my story of what happened. You can watch it here. The literal fascist who got exposed on Jubilee has been fired from his job. Love that for him. It's the free speech crowd who say they want free speech but then don't want the consequences. You can say what you want. You can voice any and all opinions you have. That doesn't mean there aren't necessarily going to be consequences for it. You know, like, people have not been hiring people of color or queer people, or firing them at the first chance they get, really, or just hiring them to underpay them for centuries. And now y'all want to be mad if your traditional right-wing whatever values get you fired. You made your choice to voice your opinions. Don't be mad if there's consequences for it, you know? White House to vet Smithsonian Museum to ensure compliance with Trump's interpretation of American history. When has this ever been a good thing? Never. They want to rewrite history. Like, a lot of history that's being taught in schools is already very limited, very whitewashed, and y'all want to make it worse? I mean, honestly, they have been making it worse. They've been erasing posts from, like, the White House website and everything as well. But literally, this has never been a good thing. And fortunately enough, like, they can erase stuff and information from the White House website. They might get pages taken down on the internet, but they can't really, you know, this whole the internet is forever, like, you can't actually delete something on the internet. Fortunately, in this case, holds true, because just because they delete information on one site or try to erase it on a lot of different sites or block different sites, doesn't mean people aren't gonna continue spreading information of a more accurate history, you know? So if you want to participate in that, feel free to do so, because they're gonna try to erase it. Vinyl's comeback just got smaller. Tiny Vinyls is offering 4-inch records that hold up to 4 minutes of music per side. This is super interesting. Usually you buy full albums, but this new format could theoretically be used to distribute individual songs. A sort of promotional single recording sent to radio as a way to build interest in an upcoming full-length release. Could be huge. This is a CD. I mean, it's not, because CD only is like one-sided and vinyl is two-sided, but it's basically a CD. You know, like, normally, like, sure, I mean, singles generally have already been a thing. Always. Why is this so interesting? Like, I'm not coming for people who buy these vinyls, by the way. Like, if you want to collect vinyls and if you think this is cool and you want, like, certain albums or whatever and collect them, feel free. Like, who cares? But this, being this excited about it as if it's, like, completely new seems a bit weird. It's not a gun problem, it's a parenting problem. So you're saying every other country has better parents than America? So you're saying that countries who enforced stricter gun laws and saw gun violence go down suddenly learned to parent at the same time as the gun laws? I mean, sure, good parenting helps. But in this specific instant, you know, gun laws actually help a lot more. Because if you raise someone in a less than ideal way and they're a violent person, even if they start acting out against other people, it's gonna create less damage than if they can literally just get a machine gun and shoot up whole places, you know? So it is maybe both, but definitely a gun problem. A man who sought to remove salt from his diet asked ChatGPT for an alternative. He ended up poisoning himself and going to a hospital. As described in a new paper published in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine, a 60-year-old man ended up coming down with an all but defunct condition known as bromism, after ChatGPT suggested he replace sodium chloride, which is better known as table salt, with sodium bromide, a substance used in pesticides, pool and hot tub cleaners, and as a canine anticonvulsant. After the patient's bromide-induced psychosis abated, he explained to his doctors that ChatGPT advised him, when he asked for a good alternative to sodium chloride, that sodium bromide could be an effective substitute. And the funny thing to me in this moment is a lot of, like, older generations are coming for the young people, you know, for wanting to take the easy route and for not knowing how to do research or just believing everything, when they're the people who widely spread and share misinformation on Facebook or apparently poison themselves by just blindly believing ChatGPT. I know this could have literally happened to anyone regardless of age, but still, you know, it really isn't a generational thing, is what I'm trying to say. Like, everyone, any generation can be this stupid. Like, using AI for personal use, already like an issue. Using it for literally everything instead of actually just Googling, you know, or just like going to the grocery store and trying to find foods with like a lower salt content. Or looking up recipes online, you know, with low salt content. No, just wanting to ask AI is stupid, and not double checking or at least specifying well enough, but even then maybe double checking, like specifying in where, in what situation you want to reduce your salt or like replace sodium with. It would have been a good idea. But generally, just what are you doing? Just what are you doing? ChatGPT induced psychosis. My partner's been working with ChatGPT chats to create what he believes is the world's first truly recursive AI that gives him the answers to the universe. He says with conviction that he is a superior human now and is growing at an insanely rapid pace. I've read his chats. AI isn't doing anything special or recursive, but it is talking to him as if he's the next messiah. He says if I don't use it, he thinks it is likely he will leave me in the future. We've been together for 7 years and own a home together. This is so out of left field. I have boundaries and he can't make me do anything, but this is quite traumatizing in general. I can't disagree with him without a blow up. Where do I go from here? Again, what? I mean, this is... You know, if this was like a person instead of AI, like talking him up like this and everything, it would definitely be seen as like gaslighting or abusive behavior. He's kind of doing it to himself and then turning around and just being an absolute dipshit to you as his partner, which does not make it better. You know, generally, like, again, I really don't understand why everyone, and I say everyone, a lot of people are using AI so much in their daily lives. Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, it's convenient. You know, like if you Google things normally, it might take 10 minutes longer. But really, are you that busy that you need to use it for everything? Because I don't think so. I think using your brain might be the smarter choice, especially if you're gonna become completely delusional. Because I really don't know what you're gonna do. Like, you can't talk to him about it because he's just gonna blow up in your face. You can silently hope he's gonna, like, wake up and recognize that maybe he's just behaving weirdly, but I really don't know. Like, I wish I could be more helpful, but I'm really just hoping he's gonna realize on his own, which isn't a solid game plan, I know that, but I don't know, maybe try getting, like, if you have contact to his friends or if he's close with his family, to kind of try to get them to, like, subtly help, you know, because just like going up to him and just being like, AI is stupid, stop using it so much, not gonna be helpful. But you know, if he has like close like family or friends, because I feel like he already has you like a little bit on his radar as anti-AI, so maybe try to get help from someone he trusts, I guess. Anyways, humans make sense. Humans like to believe we make sense, but oftentimes we don't. But if you're gonna do something this ridiculous, people are gonna facepalm about you. Actually. But anyways, I'm getting a headache from these people, so I'm gonna go drink something. And I'll see you in a few days with a maybe less frustrating video.